going on with your face?
Whatever do you mean? Do you want to elaborate at all, or just want me to guess what you mean?
I can't tell if you're getting in drag or if you're getting out of drag because it looks like you don't have foundation on from the nose down, but you have eye makeup on. So I'm wondering if you, let me guess, because it looks like you are getting in drag because as far as I know, you don't do your, but you never done your eyes first. So then I'm wondering if you're getting out of drag, but why you wiped around your eyes.
Well, for my YouTube channel, I did a video today where I recreated. I randomly choose drag race girls to recreate their makeup, and I chose you. So I did a full bob face, which includes a beard, a little mustache, and yeah.
Well, I gotta say, this is a really weak beard and mustache you're growing. What are you in seventh grade? Also, like, but no, what is going on? Like, why are you not wearing foundation? But why are you wearing? I don't. I'm genuinely confused. Are you getting out of drag or are you
I'm
getting
getting
in
out.
drag?
I'm getting out of drag, but I normally use tape to take off my glitter, and I the tape was in the other room, and then I was like running late. So I was like, I'll just take my eyes off later.
I mean, I take. I use tape too. But you just look so crazy.
I don't think I look crazy. I think I look pretty normal.
I mean, you look like you're getting out of drag, but I just have never stopped
Well, unlike
to.
you, I don't like to give the fans a false perception of who I am. Like, this is how I often run around my home. This is how I kind of sometimes I will stay in makeup until 2 o'clock in the morning just playing video games. Sometimes I'll just take off my face and leave my eyes. I give my fans the real me. I don't feel the need to give them a
I
false
love this. I don't
perception
give
of
a false
me.
perception. That's why I put on these nails, this hair, these hips,
That is
these
me. You
boobs.
know me. You know me. I have hips.
These are
I
my
have
normal
hips.
hips. This is my
I
normal
have
boobs. This is
hips.
my
I get my
normal
nails
hair.
done. Like I have boobs.
Monet, drag is literally creating a false perception of
I'm
who you
not,
are.
but that is not the
That
false
is
perception of me. That
literally
is
what
me.
drag is.
That is me. That everything I do in drag, I do in real life. Would you agree
No,
with
you
that?
don't.
I have acrylic
No.
nails. I have fucking man boobs. I have a big ass.
Yeah,
I have
you
hips.
you don't wear a
I wear
corset. You
I wear dresses. It's me.
but you so now you're acting like there's literally no difference between you in drag and out of drag. You are really on one and up to something today. So
I
you telling
mean,
me that
pretty
you in
much.
drag and you out of drag is the same thing.
They're pretty close. They're not the exact same. They're pretty close though.
So what's the difference? It's just a little bit of lip
I
gloss.
will say Monet is a little more polished than Kevin. If
So
Kevin
you
was
don't
to
so you don't wear hip pads? I've watched you wear hip pads.
sometimes, not all the time, oftentimes I don't wear hip pads.
Yeah, I don't wear hip pads every time either. But I'm saying
Oh,
putting on
we
hip pads
know.
is the idea of a false image of yours. That's a false thing. That's
No,
like
it's just
I'm
as I would
creating an
say, it's an
illusion.
amplified image, not a false image, an amplified image of me.
You are also in a mood
My
on
God,
one
you
on
love
this
you're
day.
creating this narrative. To quote you and the girls from Drag Race, I don't accept this narrative. You're creating this narrative of this mood. I am great. I have had a lovely day. I chatted with great people. I chatted with Corinne Jean Pierre, who is the chief of staff to Kamala Harris. She was great. I've had a great day.
Super. It sounds
I
fantastic.
called you earlier. You were in a mood. I called Bob today because Bob moved to Los Angeles one day ago, and also Bob does this thing where Bob acts like his friends don't play around with him, and then anytime they do, he's like, Jesus, Monet, I just can't. So I called Bob today. So you moved to LA for one thing, you just don't even check on me. You forget you have friends. Like, Jesus, Monet, I've just moved here. I cannot keep in touch with all my friends. I am busy. I am going on set to
First of all,
film a TV show. I am busy. I don't have
I don't
time to
even
talk to
talk
everyone. I
like
was like,
that.
I'm just kidding.
Well, two
Jesus
things.
Christ.
One, that's literally not even how to talk. Jesus, Monet. I am. One that's not how to talk. Monet called me and was like, "You don't call your friends." I said, "Monet, I'm very tired. I landed in LA less than 24 hours ago, and I'm very, very
That's not
tired."
what you
So
said.
no.
You said
So I
you
said, "So
said you
no,
said
I
all my
haven't called
friends
all my
expect me to
friends."
keep in touch with them, and I'm busy.
What I said was, "So no, I haven't called all my friends because I just landed in LA 24 hours ago, and I've been working nonstop since I got here. And of course, then you turned around and made it like,
And then 2 days before that, before you left New York City. I was like, so you moving to LA again? Just kidding. How Bob calls all his friends and does a Bob thing. I just called. I was like, so you moved to LA in 2 days? And you just forget you have friends. Monet, I'm moving across the country. I have a lot going on. This is
I
not like
don't talk like that.
you're like all of
You
my
do
friends
this
were like,
narrative where I'm like raising my voice, and I don't do that.
so now when I'm making a narrative, it's too much. But when you do it, it's okay. Okay,
Well, it's
got it.
just, but yours is just, it's so false because anyone who knows me knows
Oh, and yours is just so real. Got
I'm
it.
practically incapable of screaming. First of all,
Bob. I have seen you
I
scream
can
many
barely
times.
years
Look
ago.
at
I can barely
as Jacob
raise my
is shaking
voice.
his head left to right that is false, and he's laughing.
And
You're
I also
incapable.
don't. I also don't call my friends. Usually, when I call my friends, I say one or two things. Hey, girl, and then I start talking. I don't go. You got this, and now you. I go. Hey, girl. If also one of the things that I think that
Well,
I'm
excuse
known
me, I
for
don't
is
have an
calling people.
exact transcript of our
Of
conversation.
course,
I
you know.
apologize.
I also think that I'm something I'm known for is calling people and cutting straight to the chase. Hey, girl, let me ask you a quick question. Do you have that pair of Doc Martens that you act like you never gave me? No? Okay, gotta go. I normally don't call and go, you moved to la la la
I
la
didn't
and
say you
you
did that. I
did
said
the
I did
bit
that
bop
playing
boop.
around with you, and you greeted me with so much rigmarole and attitude.
What I said was, girl, I am very busy and I haven't had a chance to call my friends.
Yeah, you said
Which
it
is
just like
true.
that, Bob. Did you say it just like that?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
And of course, and of course,
Okay,
you were like,
girl.
you screamed and you went
I
bananas, and
didn't
I
say
was
you
like,
screamed. I never said you screamed.
so what are the words you would use?
I think that you're projecting what you felt internally.
Well, that's probably not true, but
Okay. How is your how is your
Monet, I
learning?
don't have time. I'm very busy to do
Literally
all
though.
this with you. All of my friends are calling me.
Oh my god. This is I couldn't tell if that was you if you were playing a recording from a conversation earlier.
That's
I'm so
literally not.
confused.
You are so full of malarkey. This is going to be one. What are we? 2 minutes in? Oh, we are in for a wild ride today, girl. Buckle up, kids, because by the end of this gaslighting ass conversation, Monet is the got her
Mm,
hands on the fucking the the pilot.
how does it feel to be gaslighting when you're normally the gaslighter?
That sounds like
Bitch,
something a gaslighter would say.
you're fucking Pyro from X-Men, bitch. You be holding the damn what you call it? What you call this thing? I can't even find the name.
It's
Uh
called a
uh
lighter.
a lighter. You be holding a lighter, bitch. That be you. You Pyro.
I would have said lamplighter from the boys. Wow, you're so old
Ew, not
school.
lamplighter.
Oh, these millennials. These
Lamplighter was
millennials.
a whack superhero. What a corny superhero.
Well, he was. I mean, I think that's the point of the boys. The boys is they're like most superheroes are kind of whack. I mean, the only one who's really super powerful is Stormfront and Homelander.
No, Maeve is very strong too. Which I don't understand that they downplay her strength. She is from well in season one, she was pretty much she can fly, she's super strong and fast like Homelander. Of course, Homelander has some other like Superman like things, but they make her seem like she is not as strong as Homelander, where in
Well, I
season
don't think
one
she
she
is
was.
because she's afraid of him.
She's afraid of him, but that's because Homelander is like an omniscient for like he is Homelander like sees
That's
all.
not how you pronounce that word, by the way. It's omniscient, not omniscient.
Omniscient my fucking dick. And
Dipshit.
they make Homelander feel like he's this like all knowing, all being, all powerful force. But I feel like but they do that in the show because honestly, I watch the show and I be sitting there and I'm afraid Homelander is gonna fucking swoop into my apartment and be mad that I'm mad at him. Like that's how they make you feel about Homelander.
Well, the thing about Homelander, they make it where he's clearly very insecure, and he knows that because he's been bullying everyone, no one really likes him. He doesn't have any real friends. So I think that that's the thing. But Maeve did the first display of powers in the show, season one, episode one. So I don't feel like I'm
Yeah.
spoiling. I mean, it is kind of a spoiler, but it's also the first one on the show when she
Yeah.
lands and the truck crashes into her and she protects those children.
Right.
But did you watch the season finale?
I have not. The last episode I watched was the one we watched together.
I think The Boys is one of the best shows on TV right now. It is so fucking good. It's just, it's a brilliant show.
Yeah, it's a really good show. If you have not watched The Boys, you should. It's if you like, and honestly, you don't even have to like superhero stuff to like it. It's likable. It's a great show outside of that. I feel it's a really good show.
It is,
Amazon really looked
however,
out.
forewarning, it is incredibly gory.
It is.
I mean, blood, guts, just nasty shit. It is some nasty, and there's also trigger warning, some really intense, like race stuff going on. If
And
you are
yeah, in
easily
season two
triggered,
especially. Season
if
one,
you're
not
easily
so
triggered
much.
by anti-Semitism or racist, he's kind of like, it's not humor. It's, they're kind of, actually, I kind of want to have a quick discussion before we get into our main topic. I was thinking this the other day. What is it like? You can talk about race and you can make art about race, but it seems like the world at large doesn't like when you make humor about race. What do you think that's about?
I think that because race is such a hot button issue right now, like obviously race is always something that's been, prevalent, but nowadays, especially with Black Lives Matter, and we're more conscious and socially we're all more aware of racism. So to make fun of it seems like you're being dismissive of that in the current climate.
But what's the difference between, like, if that's just someone's art, you can make a painting about it, you can make a song about it, you can make a poem about it, you can make an
Because
entire
comedy is
movie.
humor. Comedy
You can
feels
make an entire movie like American History X where they literally curb stomp a person's face into the ground for being a race they don't like, but you can't make a joke. And for me, I think I just see humor as another brand, another type of art. It's not a music video or a song. It's just a different kind of art that people use to deal with stuff.
well, because people oftentimes when like an oppressed group is experiencing humor at the cost at the cost of them, it feels dismissive. It feels like diminutive. It feels like you're like shooing away the pain of that group. Whereas if you're watching a really powerful short, or you're hearing a really powerful song, or you're watching, or you're seeing a really deep and reflective painting, that feels more like you're paying reverence. Whereas comedy feels more dismissive and like, haha, we're laughing at this thing.
I can't see that. I don't know. I think because I work in comedy, I don't necessarily see it as that. But I'm also looking at like the difference between maybe Chris Rock making some jokes about blackness in this time versus Steven Spielberg making Amistad, which is just what do you call it? Emotional porn. It's like just watching black people get beat up for hours and
Hmm.
hours. And I guess
I know
because
I've
they're
never
not
watched
making,
Amistad.
well, I mean, do you know the story? It's the slave
Yeah,
ship
yeah,
that
yeah.
got
The
turned. They got
slave
turned.
ships.
They
Yeah,
took the ship over. Yeah.
yeah.
But like instead of watching this emotional porn where you're just watching black people get beat up for hours and hours and hours, instead you're watching something that isn't. It's just interesting to me how we as a people are much more interested in watching people suffer through pain, like
But I
with
feel
12
like
Years a Slave or The Color Purple or all these movies, and everyone's like, as long as we're watching them suffer, it's cool.
I don't think it's cool. I think that when you watch The
Or it's
Color
fine,
Purple,
I should say.
or you watch 12 Years a Slave, or you watch Django Unchained, you're getting an emotional tether. You're connecting to it emotionally, and maybe that may inspire. I'm saying it always does, but that may inspire more activism as opposed to watching uh someone do racial comedy that may not, and for some people I'm sure it does inspire activism, or inspire people to want to change or try to learn more. Yeah, maybe, who knows, honestly,
Yeah,
for
it's
me.
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think I've used humor to inspire people to
think
do
think
activism.
think
Yeah, I know that's a hard word for you. Think. I think. I don't know what you do when you just
think
run into
you better
situations.
think about
Um,
what you're trying to do
but I
to
do
me.
think that through
Remember when,
my,
remember when you stole that number from me? That's kind of like black like reverse reparations.
do you know words today, or
Do you
like
know my
when you
fucking nuts are on your
combined
chin? Did you know my nuts are
omnipotent
on your
and
chin?
omniscient into one
Did
word?
you know my nuts are on your chin?
Wow, you are really the wordsmith today. While you look in a dictionary, we're gonna take a little break. All right, so Monet's back
And
from
we're
her.
black.
Monet took a little nap because she was feeling grumpy.
Bob, I cannot
You can and
believe
you will.
that you have officially abandoned New York City and you have gone to the dark side of LA sunny living. I am appalled. I am disgusted.
You are
And
RuPaul.
I am happy for you.
Well, the move to LA is interesting. There's this thing, and I want to say this. I have participated in this in the past, so I'm not shocked that it's happening to me. But when a New Yorker leaves New York, especially if you lived in New York City for a long time, I lived in New York City for over a decade. I lived in New York City for 12 years.
A slave.
Um, and when you leave New York, a lot of other New Yorkers are like, "How dare you? You got some nerve, bitch." And I'm it's not that I don't see because again, like I said, I participated in the shaming of people leaving New York City for a really long time. And I guess now I have left New York City, but I've also been planning to leave New York City for maybe like a year now. I just didn't know where I was going to go. I was either going to go to New Jersey, Philadelphia, Atlanta, or Los Angeles. And when I looked at what made the most sense for my career, I chose Los Angeles.
Yeah. Honestly, I've always had dream, especially like growing up in New York City. I was like, I mean, every person, every young kid who grew up in your town, especially queer kids, a lot of times of us, would like always dream about leaving and like escaping and getting away to like a better life.
But who escapes New York? Like, what is there to escape from in New York? It's
Well,
New
that's
York
because you didn't
City.
grow up here. But when you grow up here, you feel the heaviness, you feel the oppression of living in New York City. Yeah, there are lots of liberties living in New York City, especially as a young kid. And
Like the statue.
I've said a lot on this podcast. I have experienced a lot of the liberties and experienced a lot of the world, like being able to grow up in New York City. And I feel very lucky for that. But there's still things you just feel oppressed and you feel like you want to escape and want to get away. And for me, that like watching TV, like that was always LA. Like when I would watch like some of my favorite movies as a kid, especially I was a big Disney kid, as we talked about before, and I used to love Disney Channel original movies. And a lot of the ones that I admired and I wanted to be a part of, they all like were set in like LA with like the Valley Girls and like the cheerleading squad and like the lockers and this and the other. So I remember always wanting to be like, oh, I can't wait for I'm 18 so I can leave the fucking New York and go live in LA so I can, and so I've always I identified that as a kid, but the older I got, I'm like, I love New York City. But I've never ever been one to shame New Yorkers for leaving. Like I said that to you, but that's just us being Bob and Monet. I have no qualms about leaving New York City and going somewhere else, especially as you get older. Your priorities in life change. Your wants and desires shift, and it's just like the natural progression of becoming a fucking living, breathing adult, an older person.
Who you calling older, bitch?
You're older than me.
Yeah, older than oh yeah, to you, than you. But I feel like I never had like when I was younger, living in Georgia. I don't even know. The only place I ever really saw myself living was New York City, and that didn't start until I was in like college. Like I did not. When I was like a young kid, I didn't think to myself, one day I want to move to New York. I remember thinking maybe I moved to Atlanta, and then when I moved to Atlanta, I was like, I moved back to Columbus. And I was in Columbus, I was like, I'll just stay here. But when I got to college, I was like, I feel like in order to make it you got to go to. So my first plan was to come to LA. Me and this guy that I work with in Minneapolis were both going to come to LA. I sent him my deposit. He moved out to LA, found an apartment for us. He was going to move here before I was. I was going to move a few months later. And then he got here and apparently the apartment was a total piece of shit. And he just panicked, freaked out, and he just left and told the landlord, never mind.
Did you get
And
your money back?
I did not get it. Was like, girl, it was like, I think $300, which is a lot of money at the
I'm about
time.
to say $300 at when you're what? How old are you? 21, 22?
I was 20.
That's a lot of money for a 20-year-old.
It was a lot of money, but I never got it back.
Work.
I
See,
mean,
you be trusting niggas. Y'all southern motherfuckers, y'all be trusting niggas too quick. No, I don't care. Bitch, at 20 years old, I would not even trust like my best friends are just giving $300. Like, bitch, no, we doing it together. I want to give it to the person.
there were some comedians talking about how New Yorkers don't trust anyone, and they were talking about how like this. You remember when the Nichols first had that big face on them, It was like
Oh,
the nickels used
I
to
did
have a
not use them
small.
for a while.
The nickels had a small face, and then one day they just showed up with these massive faces on them, and then they gave it to this guy at a bodega, and the guy at bodega was like, "What is this?" And the guy was like, "You think I'm at home counterfeiting nickels? You think that's the
Yes.
scam?
Yes.
I think it costs more than a nickel to make a counterfeit nickel. So
But listen,
I
but
don't
isn't
think
that
it's
like the
worth it.
perfect cover? Because no one will suspect you.
But it's not perfect because you won't make money. It costs more than a nickel to make a nickel.
That's as far as you know. You don't know. Have you
No,
ever tried to make a nickel?
at home it will. I dare you to try to. First of all, how many? I think the amount of nickels you'd have to make for them to cost less than a nickel would be astronomical.
And
And
then, but
then you
nobody
have
would
so many
know.
nickels, and they're so heavy, and it just seems like a horrible scam. I would so far say, I actually did some research that said counterfeiting money doesn't even become profitable until you're counterfeiting at least a $50 bill.
Oh my gosh, should we start counterfeiting money?
Under no circumstances. And if
Bitch,
anyone
we'd
is
be
listening to this,
rich.
and if anybody from the FBI listening to this, that was Monet Exchange, Kevin Burton's voice. That was not
Stop!
Bob the
Don't
drag
lie.
queen. That was not me. That was Monet. I did not say that shit. I do not condone that. And if you need evidence, I will submit these fucking tapes.
Would you testify against me?
It was faster than you can sit down on the seat.
When was the first time you even went to LA?
Your Honor, you heard? Her.
When was the first time you ever went to LA? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was for filming RuPaul's Drag Race.
I don't know that. I think that was my first time too.
Yeah, I landed in LAX with 5 suitcases, and then I got whisked away to
Yeah.
a.
You said that wrong. You said whisked away. It's whisked away. Does that sound familiar?
It does actually. It's pretty
Okay.
funny. And then I was whisked away to a soundstage. Except, unlike you, I actually filmed in Hollywood. I don't know. Y'all
We
filmed in the
did film in
suburbs somewhere.
Hollywood.
No, Mona, I went to
Bob,
the
we
lot. I was
did.
there. That is not Hollywood. We were
Yeah, the
in
first episode we did there, and then for the rest of it we did in Hollywood. They transfer
False
studios.
Hood. Monet, I look dumb, but I'm actually a lot smarter than you. And when we did ours, also, girl, it's better. Where y'all film was better than we filmed on a lot that did not have air conditioning. Do you know that when we did it, they could only air condition one stage at a time?
Yeah,
That shit was insane. Like whenever RuPaul would show up, it would just get really hot on our side. We'd be like, "Hurry up, girls," because RuPaul just showed up.
But to be fair, so when you filmed, did y'all have the thing done where it like when you see like our season, Cracker always has her coat on, or Trinity, like our studios would be, I mean, freezing cold. Like you are literally at 1 degree away from shivering on camera.
I mean, it was cold until RuPaul showed up. But also, have you seen Canada's Drag Race and how cold they are? They are in igloos. It is insane. They're
Bitch,
in
they would
full burkas, parkas. What do you call it? A parka.
a
They're in
parka.
snow suits. They are mittens. I'm like, they're wrapped so you can only see this part of their face. I'm like, this is insane.
Oh, that when we look when Ilona had that icicle look, that wasn't a costume. She was actually cold. That was, those icicles were forming on her face.
I was like, the hell is going on over in but that was the first, and I didn't get a grasp of LA because you, as you know, you don't hang out. We stayed in Burbank and we filmed in Hollywood and we
Oh
just went
God,
between
that's a
Burbank and
long
Hollywood.
trek.
What?
That's like a 30-minute ride every time.
No, it's like 15 minutes.
Oh,
I live in LA, so I would know.
oh God, don't be
I
one of
live
those
in LA
girls.
now. I'm a Los Angelino.
I have to say I've been to LA so many times and I cannot. That's not true. I have gotten better, but been there a lot now, and stayed for long periods of time. But like for like the first year I was going there, I just could never get my bearings on like
Oh
where
no.
different neighborhoods were. It's like so hard.
All I know is that West Hollywood is west of East Hollywood. That's all I fucking know. It is like it's so hard to. First of all, I remember moving to New York City, looking at the subway map and thinking to myself, I will never figure this out. Like looking at because in Atlanta, the map goes up and down, and then it goes east to west, and that's it. There are 2 trains. One runs like this, and one runs like that, and the North Wind splits at the top into 2, and that is like tricky. And when I moved to New York City, and I was like, this is there's like spider webs under the city. This is insane, and I will
Yeah.
never figure this out. But then I ended up figuring it out like the day before I left. It is just so when I'm in LA, everyone's like, "So where are you?" And I'm like, everyone, oh my god, everyone here already is like the streets, the numbers. They love to throw a name. Take Cahuenga down to Santa
Oh
Monica,
yeah,
and then you'll
yeah.
hop off over on
Skibbity boobity
Sunset.
bop.
Also, they'll be like, "Are you on Sunset?" Bitch, Sunset is 18 miles long. That's like saying I'm on Broadway.
Yeah,
Bitch,
I'm about to say,
Broadway
bitch,
goes from the
everybody's on
top of Manhattan
Sunset.
to the yeah. Everybody's on Broadway. Everyone literally lives a few blocks from Broadway.
Oh my gosh, should you write a song on Sunset? Oh, they say
Well,
the street lights under.
they say that everybody lives on Sunset. Um, I actually wrote years ago a parody
I remember
called NNYC
in
to the tune of Under
NYC.
the Sea.
In
Lord,
NYC, and you
I
was like,
can't sing it
Monet,
now.
I want you to, I want to paint you red, and then you were like, haha, I need to paint you red. You're already red, and you should play Sebastian.
You do have red tones to you.
And what are your tones, Bob?
I mean, I have reds obviously, but I'm just you're more of a red bone. You're not red bone. That's not true.
I'm
But
not Redbone. Redbone is for all the
I
white
already said you're
people
not red
watching and
bone.
listening. Redbone's a light skinned ass black people. I'm not that. I am brown, black skin.
Well, there's also yellow. There's also a high yellow. There's high yellow. There's red bone. So they're not necessarily exact because you can be light skinned and be high yellow, and you can be light skinned and be red bone.
Or as Asia calls them, paper sack brown, which sounds so rude.
Yeah, I mean that's very Asian. But you just have more red in your skin, and I just have a deeper. Where I feel like whereas I'm like a crimson red, you're more of a fire hydrant red.
Crimson is like deep red.
Deep,
No.
yes, dark. It's dark. I'm darker, and also
No, I would say you
not
have
you
more
swearing
yellow
up
in
and
your
down.
skin.
Every day you swear me and you are like right next to you. Like you're like
We
I'm one
are.
shade lighter.
Bob, when you look at, okay, y'all watching this video right now, we are not far. You have this thing where I'm this like light skinned ass bitch, and no, you and I are very close in
I've
color.
never called you light skin. I just said I'm
You
darker
have you used
than
to
you.
call me Redbone.
Okay, that's not light skin.
Oh God,
Maybe based on the New York City lingo, we call them high yellow down in the South in this thing.
got it. One thing I am jealous about you moving to LA, I've the weather. I'm very jealous of you and the weather. Now, I love fall and spring. I fucking hate winter. I hate snow. I hate when you walk out of your home and it is so cold, like it sends like a chill up your spine. So I'm very jealous of this weather you're about to have for the rest of your life.
I mean, I used to hate winters, but then something about living in New York City, I've just started not minding them. They don't really bother me so much. The only time I don't like winter is there's a like a 1 to 2 week period at the beginning of cold season where your landlord just will not turn on your heat. And for those of you who don't know, most buildings in New York are pre-war, and if you live in a pre-war building, you don't turn on your heat. Your landlord turns on the heat for everyone at the same time, and some people can control by turning it up and down, but you can't actually turn it on until your building decides to turn it on for you. And then I also hate the 1 to 2 weeks afterwards where they will not turn the heat off. And it's fully getting hot, and you're in your apartment like sweating, and then the landlord, I don't know, I'm like, nigga, you not hot too? Don't you live in the same building I live in? You got the same wig I got?
Also, your apartment used to be your old apartment was a myriad of issues. We talked about this the other day, but your shit used to be hot. You used to
Oh
have your
yeah.
windows open the house down because your apartment was so hot.
So the thing was, my apartment was really small, but I had like 2 or 3 radiators in it. I don't know what the hell. There were a radiator in every fucking corner. So in the wintertime, we used to open the windows and snow falling all on my drag and shit because it would just be so hot in that apartment.
So hot. And then you had the nerve to have a fucking top bunk. I remember one time, do you remember this? I came to your apartment. It was one of those times where you told me to come home and you were like, I was like, Bobby, you're probably gonna be sleeping. You're like, Monet, just come in. Or you were like, just come in and wake me up. I was like, okay. And bitch, I came and I woke you up, Bob. You were on that fucking top bunk. You were sweating. It looked like somebody dunked you in the pool. You were so sweaty.
Where heat rises. he, but I mean, I slept in the top bunk. This is also a different. I mean, I'm sitting in my bedroom in LA, and this is a massive bedroom. In the 4 or 5 apartments, let me see, Woodside, Long Island City, Upper West Side, and Washington Heights. I live in 4 apartments in New York City.
Mhm.
This is I've never had a bedroom this. That's not true. My apartment in Ozone Park actually was my bedroom was bigger than this, but also I lived in one of those apartments that was like a living room and a bedroom that were both the exact same size, and then we
Mm.
just turned it into a 2 bedroom. And like this like family lived on one side, and me and my roommate lived in the other bedroom, and it was massive. But outside of that, this is way bigger than any New York City bedroom that I've ever had.
Is it like the size of my bedroom?
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Word.
And there's a massive closet that I can stand in. There's 2 closets in here. I can stand inside of both of them. And there's storage. You remember my old apartment in New York City had literally 0 closets, no storage.
Oh,
Well,
that's crazy.
I had a built-in closet that we got from like the Container Store. But
Yeah.
outside of that, it's just like no. Cl- so there's already space, but also I don't have a car, which has been a whole chore. And Monet's snapping. And when you don't have a car in LA, everyone looks at you like you're either crazy or poor or both.
Are you gonna get a car?
I need to get a driver's license. Let's start with that.
Are you gonna get a driver's license?
I'm gonna have to get a driver's license at some
You
point.
don't
Yeah.
have to. Kim Chi does not have a license or a car, and she lived in LA far longer than you have.
I don't think that Bianca has a car either, I think she finally got a car. I
Did she?
think.
I cannot picture Bianca's small old ass driving. I feel like Bianca, right? I feel like Bianca will fully need to be one of those old ladies sitting on some phone book to reach the steering wheel.
Actually, I don't. I mean, I went to Bianca's house and I don't. There was a car there, but I don't know if it was hers. Like there were other people there
If
too.
I moved to LA or when I moved to New York, I'm absolutely like my first shit. I'm stopping at the dealer from the airport to my apartment, to my home, to my house, and I'm getting a car. I loved having a car. I miss having a car. I love cars.
Yeah, I'm not like crazy about like the idea of
And
driving doesn't speak to me. I'm not like, ooh, I can't wait to drive. Like I'm just, and
can I tell
also
you, Bob is so fucking whack. I was like, Bob, so when you do get your license in the car, what you gonna get? He's like, well, they, the thought of like having a really fuel efficient car really gets me going. And I was like, so you're gonna get a fucking Prius? He's like, no, something like a Civic. Why was to get like some old lady fuel efficient car? Ew.
I didn't realize you hated the planet that much. Um, I just don't like. I don't need. Well, like, what do I need? Like a Mack truck?
Okay, I didn't say a Mack truck.
Like what do you want me to drive?
I would say, like, first of all, you let me tell you something. When I see big ass niggas in little cars, that shit tickles the fuck. When I see some big black motherfucker come out of Prius, that shit is so funny to me. It looks so comical to see that. And you too
But like,
big to be driving a Prius.
I just don't understand. Like, what do you want? Like, you want me to drive a Suburban?
Not a
Like I'm a
Suburban. You
football
can have
player?
like
Like I'm an Uber
a
driver?
a, J- a Jeep Cherokee Laredo, or you can have like some type of SUV. You just don't be getting those tiny Civic. Like that's like you saying like Monet, I'm gonna get a smart car. You too big for a smart car. You will look crazy.
Okay, one I won't. I've been inside of as a New Yorker. Everyone knows the most common car you will ever be in is a Toyota Camry. If you call an Uber, a Camry showing up, and I fit in the front seat, I fit in the back seat, I could fit in the fucking trunk if I wanted to, and I just don't feel like I need
Yeah,
some
look
like
at Jacob's
massive
screen. That's what
car.
I was talking about. That
I
looks
don't
like
need.
you.
I mean, my mom used to drive a Jeep Cherokee when I was in high school. My mom drove a Jeep Cherokee. I know what a Jeep Cherokee is. I mean, I thought about getting a Jeep Wrangler because I think
Those
those
are
are cool,
cute. That's so cute.
but they're not very fuel efficient. And the idea of having to go to the gas station half as often sounds really appealing to me. So being so if you and I are hanging out and you keep being like, oh, we got to go to the gas station, but if I'm getting 56 miles to the gallon, I'm gonna be a lot better off than you. Like, what do I need a big ass car for?
Because you a big ass nigga. That's why.
I I just don't
Oh,
feel like this.
Mitch says that you should get a Tesla. Oh, girl. I mean, come on, winner of season 8, get a Tesla, mama. $100,000, girl. You got it.
Well, I don't have enough money for a Tesla, and I don't feel embarrassed by that. Teslas are incredibly expensive, and I
That's
would
not
like to
true. That's not true.
Teslas are very expensive. It is a known fact that
That a
Teslas
woman do
are
carry eating bag at dinner time.
that I mean, maybe to you, maybe you're just rolling in so much so that Teslas don't cost that much to you, but Teslas
No.
are incredibly expensive.
$60,000 is a base. $40,000. That's how much a Cherokee, a Jeep Cherokee. That's how much a
But
Wrangler
see,
costs.
now do you realize the difference? If you are getting a base level Tesla, or for the same price, you can get the top level Jeep Cherokees. You're getting the Tesla with practically nothing in it. If you get the Jeep Cherokee for the same price, it's going to have a smartphone. Your seats are going to be heated. It's going to fly.
But why do you need all that?
It's going to run off of dreams and memories. It's going to. But your money will just go further if you get the souped up Camry versus getting the shit ass Tesla.
But you don't need a super Camry because a Tesla, a base model Tesla, the thing that makes you come, that turns you on so bad, fuel efficiency, a base model Tesla is gonna give you that thing that you want so bad.
Then get yourself a fucking Tesla since you want one so bad, and let me drive my fucking Toyota Camry. Like, what is? Do you work for Tesla? I literally have stock in Tesla, and I'm not acting like you.
Oh, did you buy some Robinhood Tesla stocks?
Oh yeah, girl. Me and Robinhood has been a wild ride lately. I don't know if y'all ever use. This is not an ad, by the way. They don't pay us. But I was on Robinhood, and I should have like about 4 weeks ago. Everything was so low, and I did not buy anything. This we were just talking about this. Like, I don't know. White people just know money. That shit is confusing as hell to me. White folks just be knowing what the fuck. I be talking. I mean, I don't know if Jacob. I was talking. Jacob's mom does like money stuff, and she be saying stuff, and I'm like, "What the fuck are you? Who taught you this? Like, you didn't go to school for this. You went to school for like science stuff. Why do you know all this money shit?
Oh no.
Who taught you this shit? White folks just be.
White people are wild. White people are wild. They're so
How
crazy.
Are you going to school for science stuff, but you are this money person? What the hell's going on?
Honestly, that shit is fucking genetic.
Yeah, Jacob just sent us a picture of Elon Musk smoking a cigar at the fucking Joe Rogan. Monet, you're the one trying to buy Elon some more fucking fancy cigars.
Elon Musk. Honestly, if Elon Musk wanted me to be his side piece, I would literally do whatever he asked me to do.
But I also feel like you and I do have a very different. I don't know. You and I just approach things like owning things in a very different way. You seem to be, and this is not a read. By the way, this is why I think you're very LA. You are very much like, look at this thing. Like you're like, you'll
what
walk
do
in
I
with
do
like,
that? Please tell me what I do that about.
I'm like you'll walk in with like a massive like Gucci tracksuit that says Gooch on one titty and Chi on the other one.
I literally don't have that. But I'm not.
What's that Gucci tracksuit? What it says Gucci all. And then you
in like the tiniest font on the.
And
thing.
then you'll have like your big bag that says like Dior.
Says the bitch who had a fucking big ass Burberry fanny pack, who had a Versace backpack, who has a Gucci fanny pack.
Didn't say Versace on it.
Oh, but your Burberry one said it in the biggest letters that I have ever seen.
You got me.
I didn't even know. Honestly, when you had that fanny pack, I didn't even know they made letters that big.
You got me. The one thing I had, like my Gucci fanny pack, it is, you wouldn't even know this was Gucci unless you asked me or if you saw it at the fucking store. Like,
that's not true. The strap tells you it's Gucci from a mile away. Also, you're the one, you walk into your house, you have a 99.8 foot projector in your home, and I'm the one.
Money, like, it costs like $300. You act like I bought a stadium. All I have is like the projector itself was like $400. And the projector screen was like another $400. That's not
so that's with tax. So that's a $900 TV you got in your house. You know how much my TV costs? $550. So now what's what?
But I also only have one.
And the other one was given to me by our friend. Our other one was given to me by our friend Jay DeFeo. So now what's what? What's what?
So I'm saying,
but
you're like interested in like labels, and you want people to know that you have
I just
things.
like buying nice stuff.
Yeah, sure, go off.
So you don't either?
Say again?
So you don't like buying nice stuff with your 18 MacBook Pros and your 4 iPads and all of your newest, latest Samsung Galaxy phones? You don't like buying nice stuff?
I have one MacBook Pro.
Jacob has 3.
I've had them one at a time. I'm not.
I've had this computer I'm using for this stream right now. I have had since my sophomore year of college, and I have
You mean the
not
computer
replaced
that's
it.
been screaming at us because it's so old that it can't process the data? Yeah,
You
that one.
know what? This hey, she has not she has not failed me yet.
Barely. You almost didn't even make it on this call. When it was like, my camera's not working. Why? And the fans like, so I think she's on the way to failing you. But I'm just saying, I do think that it's fair to say that you are much more of a label whore than I am.
I'm not a label whore. I like. Well, also here's a big reason why I do that, Bob, is because, like I told you before, I love the Patriot Act by Hassan Minaj is such a great show to me. It has really changed my perspective on a lot of things, and it's episode about factory clothes. I'm forgetting the whatever. It's factory shopping, whatever. Where like people who buy stuff at like H&M and Zara and stuff. Oh, fast fashion. Sorry, fast fashion where fast fashion is literally killing our planet. Whereas he proposes buying more expensive things like once a year as opposed to buying like 19 inexpensive things all year round. So, for example, my Gucci tracksuits, I will wear those. I've worn them for the past 2 years. My bags, I use them. The ones you given me, the ones I use them all the time. Where I'm not
The
always
ones you
going
stole
to
from me.
whether I'm not always going to Zara to buy a new bag. I'm not going to H&M buying new clothes. I'm wearing the same things all the time because they're made really well and they last me. So I'm not contributing to fast fashion, you know? So that's why it's honestly a big reason why I started buying more
Also,
expensive
who is
stuff.
this pitch for? Who is Hassan Minaj pitching going to Gucci and buying more expensive clothes to? Who is his
He wasn't
audience?
saying
You?
Gucci. He wasn't saying Gucci. It's just he's just saying to buy more expensive quality things, or not more expensive, more quality things, and wear them more as opposed to buying inexpensive smaller things all the time.
Well, I think you
Because
also
places
know
like
that.
Zara tricks you. They have these bins in fucking Zara, and they're like, "Oh yeah, donate all of your old clothes here. We recycle them because they want to give you the appearance that they're socially conscious and they care about the planet." When all those clothes you put in those fucking bins, they're taking them and burning them, and then polluting the ozone and all that stuff. That like they do stuff like that to trick you to thinking that they're and so that you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna shop at Zara because they really care about the planet." They don't give a fuck.
Well, I mean, I don't shop at Zara or H&M. I usually buy all my clothes from this place in Midtown Manhattan that sells old lady. Like I dress like I teach African American studies at a community college. I'm like, hi, I work at SUNY Purchase. I teach African American studies. Like genderless sacks of clothes, and I don't really shop at H&M or places like that. I mean, I do buy underwear from cheap places, but that's also often because I'm usually buying a bunch of underwear because I'm like on the road. You ever like go on the road? Maybe you don't, but I always pack less underwear than I need. And then I'm like, oh shit. And then I end up going out. So I have so many underwear at home. It's like insane. When I don't even know where my home is at this point.
But a house is still a house. But there's nothing there. I don't know the
Now
words. I don't know the
you say
melody.
a house is not a home. It's a chair is still a chair,
Still a
even when there's
chair.
no one sitting there. But a chair is not a house, and a house is not a home. Do you even sing, or do you just like listen to music?
What? That doesn't make any sense. What the fuck
Do
are you
you even
talking about?
like know music, or are you just like a fan? Don't be telling us to wrap shit up, Jacob. You wrap it up,
Don't.
nigga. You
Oh
wrap
my
it the fuck up.
god. No, you should wrap it up. And we're gonna take a break.
That was a joke.
Are you
Jacob
excited
looked
for
at me
LA?
like,
Are you excited for LA traffic? Which I have to say, people complain about LA traffic. New York has bad traffic too, but go off.
I mean, I'm from Atlanta. Has bad traffic. You know, right now, I've lived in Atlanta. I've been to LA a lot. I've lived in New York City. Nowhere, and I mean nowhere, has traffic quite like San Francisco. Trying to make it from the East Bay into San Francisco is insane. It can take literally hours. And Jacob can attest to this. It can take hours to make it from the East Bay if you
Mm.
go in at the height of the day. If you have to like travel late at night or pick the right little pocket, but it's insane. That was the worst traffic I ever experienced. Luckily, when I lived in the East Bay, I stayed mostly in the East Bay,
Mm-hmm.
meaning the Oakland, Berkeley, El Cerrito area.
Yeah, I've been to San Francisco. That's a place I would move. I love San Francisco. I've never experienced San
Can we talk about your
Francisco.
little plan or your little things? I don't personally think you're gonna do.
Oh my god.
Monet
Okay, go ahead.
swears she's moved. Monet swears she's moving to Portland. Swears. Monet's been looking at houses in Portland for legitimately a year and a half.
That is not true. It is not true.
So when did you start looking? When did you start
I re-
mentioning moving to Portland?
I started mentioning probably January when we went to Survivor Tour in UK, and then I started like actually looking at houses during quarantine, like about May, and then I realized the smarter time to buy would be December. But I'm gonna be in the UK. Bitch, I'm going to the UK. I might go to the UK and not come back.
That's not quite how that works. Go off.
You don't know my life. I will fucking seek asylum. I will go to Boris Johnson house and be like, Boris, give me my
I don't
papers.
think
I'm
you know much
staying.
about Boris, but Boris is not friendly to people like you, girl. I don't know.
I know
I don't know.
Brexit,
I don't know who
Brexit,
you
Brexit,
think.
Brexit, Brexit.
I don't think Boris is gonna be like, all right, love. All right, mate. Walk right in here, y'all. I don't.
But yeah, Bob. I wanna. What if I like actually move to the UK?
I just don't think you're going to do that. But if you do, then I'm sure you'll have had a good reason, and I'll support you. But I don't think you're moving to Portland. That just also for a lot of reasons, it just doesn't make sense for you to move to Portland right now.
But you know this. We don't need to be based anywhere. You can fly if you have a. If you have an audition somewhere, a lot of auditions are self tape. If you have to go to somewhere in person, a flight down to LA from Portland is literally 45 minutes. Faster, literally faster than than the train from 207th Street to Times Square.
But I feel like outside of touring, most of the work that we get is either in Los Angeles or in New York. Outside of touring, how much of that do you do in Portland normally?
I've never lived there, so I don't know.
I mean, how much work do you do in Portland outside of like touring?
The most office is up in stores, huh?
It's a no. Me and Pep did a song about voting. It's called The Most Office, and it is now available on Spotify and iTunes. It's about voting.
Oh my god, me and Peppermint did a song called "The Coast Office." It's coming out on Spotify tomorrow.
What's that one about?
It's about voting on the coast
Nice, like places like New York and Florida
or
and
LA or
California.
Portland or
Yeah,
Florida. Yeah,
nice.
it's like really coastal specific.
I love that. That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's truly amazing.
Thank you.
But yeah, I just feel like moving to Portland at this point doesn't make sense. I think if your goal is to retire in Portland, I think that you should move somewhere else. And then like once you, for example, my goal is to essentially, not essentially, eventually retire in Atlanta. That's my goal.
Atlanta.
To
Yeah. Are you going to become the second coming of Tyler Perry in Atlanta?
I don't know. I don't know that I would be producing work, the kind of work that Tyler Perry produces,
You
but
don't
I
know
could.
that. You're very creative. You're very smart. You're really good at what you do.
I
Tyler
don't.
Perry has all those checks, all those boxes, and you do as
I
well.
think you're attributing what I was thinking about him being talented, and I'm saying I don't think I'll be creating the type of work like these Jesus propaganda pieces. I don't see myself creating that kind of work. But I
Do you
love that you
think
think I
Tyler
was
Perry?
talking shit about myself. That was really that was a weird angle to go
Well,
to immediately.
I thought you were just joining in on what we all say about you all the time. Do you think that Tyler Perry's Medea is problematic?
The short answer is yes, it is problematic. But I also think that it is okay for Black people to pull from Black experiences that they have to create a narrative for Black people. I know people who have Medeas, and I had a Medea in my life. My grandma Julie was
Julia.
Grandma Julie. She was a lot like that, minus the shooting. Um, but she was a very loud, and I have a lot of aunts who probably seem like Medea types, the wild, brassy, very large black lady.
Hmm.
And I think that a lot of black people really appreciate and enjoy Tyler Perry's work. So I think that if it's speaking to people and people are relating to it, then there's obviously a lot of realness to what he's doing.
Yeah, I've seen some people. A lot of like TikTok actors and sketch people on TikTok. this guy one in particular, he does like this like schoolgirl. Remember I showed you too? He's like, Vanessa, hey Vanessa, how you doing, girl? And she's like kind of in the hallway, whatever. And this black girl like came at him like, I can't believe
Is
you're
it the
doing
one
this.
who wears the wigs
No,
off the
not
head?
him. It's the other one. Remember, he's like saying the hallway, he's like chewing gum. He has like the bonnet on, and he's like in the hallway, like
And he's
flagging people
black.
down. He's black, and
What?
then
All right,
like
go
a
ahead.
black girl like duetted him. She's like, I can't believe you're doing this inappropriate. You're appropriating black culture. I'm like, A, he's black. B, he's pulling from his life experiences going through. I think he's from Atlanta, going to school in his maybe all black high school in Atlanta, whatever it is, and she was like, you're just degrading black women, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, and calling them stupid. He was like, A, I never call these girls stupid. B, I've never put them down. I've never said what they're doing is inappropriate. He was like, and as a matter of fact, the girls I know who act like this, a lot of them were like the smartest bitches in my class. They were acing tests. They were girls that I was stealing their homework from. So the fact that you are insinuating that I am somehow calling them stupid, degrading them, speaks more to your experiences than what I'm saying in
Yeah,
my sketch.
I agree. I think that if people find what Tyler Perry is doing as Medea offensive, I think it actually probably says more about how they view that type of person. Like the way that I view my aunts who kind of remind me of Medea, who are like really loud and aggressive and like kind of bullies, is I view them as really powerful and
Right.
strong. While I do admit that what Tyler Perry is doing is certainly a caricature of that, it's like
Right.
whenever I see uh, like Latinx people doing really heightened versions of what it means to be Latinx, they're pulling from
John
these really,
Leguizamo.
or like Lily Singh, like when Lily Singh is doing these really heightened versions of her Indian family, I think that she's just pulling from her actual experience and
Right.
talking about what it's like to be her. I don't think that she's degrading these people, and I think that if you think it's degrading to have an Indian accent or to have a black girl accent from the South, then maybe it says more about how you feel about being a black girl with an accent from the South.
Do you want to do your best Monet Exchange impersonation? And I'll do my best Bob.
Damn Monet, soak it up, babe.
Oh my fucking god. Oh my god, that is so rude.
No, I don't. I don't have a good. So we were talking about this recently. Like neither you nor I have a voice that is particularly. It is unique, but it's not like Dave
I'm
Chappelle.
fucking
Or
gagging so
I was kidding when I was joking. You don't sound that feminine. I think that
Oh my
our
god.
voices aren't particularly easy to and I'm also not great at impersonations. But I feel like also a big part of you these days is you are a sponge and you pull from lots of people, so you end up having this. You went away and now you just have all these Monique Hart affectations that you never had until
Like
you met her.
what?
Ah, yeah, she's really good. Like you do that a lot. Stunning, it's stunning.
I
Like
did not say that.
Monet, you do a lot of Monique Hart isms in
You made
your.
me say so I walk around and say like, oh god, you know that?
No,
That's
but you
me.
do it. No, but you do it sometimes. Sometimes you'll have a moment where you be like, "Ah, she's very like." You'll just do a Moniqueism that I had never heard until you met Monique. There's nothing wrong with that. You are a product of your
I
surroundings.
don't think that's true.
You also don't think you like slobber a lot.
I just had my foot in Colleen's fucking, well, not in it, but my foot was like on her litter box, and she like been sleeping this whole time. When she came to use it, she literally was taking her paw and she was like, bitch, move your foot. I need to go to the bathroom.
So you got a shitty ass foot.
No,
Also,
she
by the
took
way,
her.
I was not supposed to get here until the 25th. There's a cat in this house. I can't get
that
away
makes
from
me
cats.
that makes me so happy.
Why does that make you happy? I don't understand why it would make you happy.
It makes me so happy that you're like, oh, there's a cat here. What makes me so happy?
Why would it make you happy that I'm uncomfortable? I don't understand.
Because
That.
seeing you miserable, it makes me sad, but it gives me a little bit of joy.
Wow, that's really interesting. I don't get there from when I receive
Because I also because
I feel
well,
miserable.
no because you overreact and you're so ridiculous about the thing. Like for example, when we're in Florida, the cat literally Bob made the cat want to go to his room because he would shut the door and shut the cat out. So cats are naturally curious animals. So you
Wow,
shutting the
victim blaming. Wow, go ahead, keep going.
so you shutting the door is making her want to go in there more for no reason. Whereas if you just left the door open, she would probably literally never even go in the room. But because every time Bob comes back, no, 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 no. And Bob is like, Monet, this fucking cat, get the fucking cat. Like, but you make it a thing, so it makes her want to do the thing that you don't want her to do.
I guess so. I just don't like cats, and this fucking cat is obsessed with me. And everywhere I go, this cat is following me and wants to be my fucking buddy. And I'm trying to watch this TV show. But we can't say it. But I'm trying to watch the TV show that I just got cast. I'm like, let me watch the show and catch up on and see what it is. And then the cat is trying to sit next to me, and I'm like, listen, cat, this is the only TV in the house. Please don't make me watch this on my laptop in my room. Go, leave me alone. Go do something else. Anything else in this house. Why you want to sit next to me?
Well, also, I think that you may have an aura, an essence, an air about you that animals really like. Dogs really like you, so cats are picking up on that same. You have a thing about you that animals like you. You're, oh my god, what if you found out you like Doctor Doolittle and you can like speak to animals?
I would quit this drag shit and make a lot of fucking money.
But okay, if you were Doctor,
that's right. I'm doing drag just for the money. Y'all heard it right.
You think, in all reality, if you were like Doctor, do you think people would like would believe
Stop
you?
everything. Oh no. I think I could convince people. If the dogs would do what I told them to do, I think I could convince people. Real quick, should we discuss jealousy for 1 second?
Sure. Like the Beyonce song, "Jealous."
No, the jealousy I have in my heart.
Oh, tell me about this jealousy.
This is a moment of realness. I'm going to be real with y'all. I opened up my iTunes store the other day, went to podcast, and found out that The Bald and the Beautiful was at one point the number 3 podcast in America. Number 3. Above Conan O'Brien, above all these, the Trevor Noah show. I think it's number 9 or 10 right now. That is so crazy to me. I mean, there's one part of me that's like, I'm genuinely happy for them because I am fans of their work. You know what I mean? In general, I am a fan of their work. I think they're really funny. And the other part of me is like, literally one episode is out, and this is where they are already. That is so crazy.
Also, they've been out for like a week and a half, and they have 3.3 thousand ratings on iTunes, and we've been out for 3 years, and we have 3.5.
So, and this is off one episode. They literally have one episode out, and they have 3.
Crazy.
They have basically the same amount of ratings as us. They have 5 stars. It just seems maybe we should be asking people to review us more often. I also feel like they
we
don't.
ask pretty often.
I feel like they're not like, can you guys please watch our? Part of me, like I said, there's part of me that's like, girl, go off. I mean, work, Miss Thing. And the other part of me is like, Jesus Christ, that is so insane. How do you feel? Be honest.
Oh, I mean, not necessarily jealous. I am genuinely shocked that they just get such a reaction from their fans, no matter what they do. They like everything that they do together. Their fans just love it, and they to quote Monet X Change, their fans just soak it up.
Is that? I mean, I acknowledge that it is jealousy. This feels kind of like when I was watching Lizzo, and she was nominated for like more Grammys than anyone that year, and then Billie Eilish walked in and won every single thing. She's like, "Yeah, by the way, I just recorded it in my basement." And I'm not saying that they just recorded theirs in their basement, but what I'm saying is like, it just seems like sometimes we put in like a lot of effort, and then on one episode, and they're probably putting a lot of effort on this one episode, to be fair. I was like, this is insane, but also go off, like, good for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, what we're saying is go fucking listen. Not you just go rate our podcast on iTunes. Text in your family group thread. Be like, y'all, post a link and be like, everybody go rate this, guys, please, for my birthday. I just really want you guys to rate my favorite podcast and leave them a nice review. Do all of those things and do that for us. Because also, when you rate and you give us comments and stuff, that you are supporting 2 Black queer voices, one pretty one funny one, and you're really contributing to the development of our amazing art.
Do you remember when we checked and they were at number 10 and we were at 129?
Wait, what? What?
We checked the ratings and they were at number 10 and our cat podcast was at number 129. I was like, what?
But Bob, there was a time when we were above What's the Tea. Remember that?
Yeah, once upon a fucking tempo.
We were like 13 or something like that. 13 or 14.
What should we do if we can get in the top 10 of iTunes of the podcast?
If we get in top 10, I think you and I should do. Would you honestly do a hot dog eating contest?
You know what? I'll relapse.
Oh my God. Don't. That's not funny, Bob. I would never let you do that. Not on film. If we get to top 10, I think you and I should do a hot dog eating contest. Or that, or would you
let's do buffalo wings. Who can eat very hot buffalo wings in a shorter amount of time? Like
no, it has to be who eats the most.
Is it the most or is it the most in a quick amount of time?
I think it's the most in the time.
So you and I will go to some buffalo wing place and be like, the hottest thing. Give us the hottest thing.
Oh my God, that doesn't even sound fun. That sounds so painful.
Well, what you mean? We get to the top 10 and then our reward, everyone's like, oh, we're just gonna go have a nice meal of our favorite thing.
Yeah, Bob and I gonna go to we're gonna go to Del Frisco's or Ruth Chris Steakhouse and have a nice dinner if we get to the top 10. Okay, I'm into it. We'll film it in drag and it could be a fun video. I'm into it.
Do you like buffalo wings? I love buffalo wings.
You love chicken wings in general.
Yeah, will we do boneless or bone? No, we have to do boneless. Oh no, bone in because bone in.
Bone in. Yeah, to make it a little more challenging. The thing about eating
bone in wings is what makes about eating really really hot wings is it's not just it is getting it around your mouth and then your whole face is on fire. And you can put a boneless wing. You can slip a boneless wing in there, bitch. I can eat my entire arm. I can touch that dangly thing at the back of my throat, Miss Thing. But when you have to tear into a wing, that will ruin you. You.
Okay, so y'all heard it here. Get us to the top 10 on iTunes, and we will do a really hot wing eating contest between the two of us. Who can eat the most in a certain amount of time, and we'll film it, put it on YouTube, and so yeah, that's our promise to you.
Luckily, we'll never have to do it. All right, thank you all so much for joining us. I'll talk to you all next time. Bye.
Adios.